Let's check out my recent eBay comic book haul. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, comic book fan. So I recently bought some comics from eBay. Some interesting things I wanted to pick up here and there. So let's see what I got. First off is this comic that I got for free. This is Hepcats number 3 from Martin Wagner. This is part 1 of the Snowblind story. So Hepcats is a classic independent black and white furry comic from the 80s. And what's interesting about it, if you hadn't heard it on my episode of my podcast, go back and listen to that episode first for the full story about this comic. But anyway, this is an independent comic book published in the 80s, late 80s, mid 80s, and then to the early 90s. It was never completed, suggested for mature readers. The artwork inside is amazing, and on the outside this watercolor is nice. It's a slice of life comic about college friends and the traumas they go through. Well, what I was really trying to get was Omaha the Cat Dancer number 1. This is the one that I tried to negotiate for. The negotiation wasn't going that great. I ended up paying more than what my negotiation was, but I got that free issue of Hepcats with it. So that kind of worked out. Anyway, here's another early 80s independent black and white furry comic. Number 1, adults only. So I've been wanting to get a copy of this. This is not in the best condition. A very good condition copy of this is quite expensive. I didn't pay very much for this, so I'm happy. And it's a first print from the independent publisher Steel Dragon Press. Original price $1.60. In early 80s currency, that was quite a lot. So I got this. So, Amazing Spider-Man number 800 recently premiered. I wanted to fill in a few gaps in my early Spider-Man run. I wasn't reading comics at this time right here. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 200 from 1979. I was 1 year old. Our 200th issue anniversary spectacular against the man who killed his Uncle Ben, the Spider versus the Burglar. So this is classic Romita art and meeting the villain of the very first Spider-Man story ever. So this is Amazing Spider-Man number 200. If you look closely, did you see this right here? What does this mean? It's a UPC symbol, barcode. Nowadays it would mean the newsstand. Oh, this is a newsstand issue. Nope, everything was the newsstand back then, basically. This fledgling direct market was emerging. Comic book shops, specialty shops, and this means then it's not a newsstand, it's a direct edition. It's a comic book variant. So in the early 80s, the comic book variants were the big ones, the big collector's ones, but nowadays the newsstand editions are the big collector's item. This person, I don't think they knew they were selling the direct market edition, so I got a good price for it. Don't tell him. Spawn. You've heard by now Jamie Foxx is going to be Spawn, so here's a copy of Spawn number 2. Classic early 90s McFarlane series. Beautiful Ken Stacy cover. Brooding in a graveyard. This scene never happens in the actual comic, but it's really cool. I already had this, actually. I have number 1 and 2 in early issues, first appearance of Angela, etc. What I didn't have was, newsstand edition. Image Comics didn't do very many newsstand editions back in the day, so finding one of these newsstands is big bucks. And here's another one that the seller didn't seem to know what they were selling. Well, it's just, let me get rid of my bulk Spawn number 2s. This was a newsstand edition, which is now starting to climb up in price. I'd love to get Spawn number 1 newsstand, but that'll be another time. Amazing Spider-Man number 600. I just showed you number 200, which I never had, and here's number 600, which I never had. So this is a wraparound cover, very nice scene, number 600. I wasn't reading Spider-Man at the time, so I never picked it up, and now I've got a copy. Amazing Spider-Man 700, variant edition. So again, I wasn't reading comics at that time, so I didn't have it, but here's a number 700 to fill out the collection. Number 700, second print. Yep, second print variant. Classic Amazing Spider-Man 300 Homage. This is with Dr. Octopus, the world's deadest superhero. Ho snap. Because obviously it was always the world's greatest superhero, and we all know how this ended. And what's this? Another Amazing Spider-Man 700? Have I gone overboard? Why do I have so many of them? Well, Spider-Man, of course, is the greatest comic book character of all, and my favorite one, so yeah, why not? Now, I already had a copy of this. This is the regular cover, but wait a minute, what's this right here? Amazing Spider-Man display until 2513. Yes, this is another fabled newsstand edition. And this is another example where the eBay seller didn't know what they were selling. So I got a rad newsstand variant to go along with my direct edition, direct market variant. Not really variant, but you know what I mean. Next, some classic Amazing Spider-Man books. Number 258. Newsstand. This cover is just seared into my memory because before I really started to read very much Spider-Man, my dad bought me a graphic novel titled The Saga of the Alien Costume, and it recounted this issue and a few others in one thick paperback. I still have it, but I never had the original comic, and now I do. So I got this one, then the following one, 259. Basically the story at this point is, of course, that Peter discovers alien symbiote. It doesn't want to let him go and all of that stuff. And then the original is back. Plus the never-before-told true story of Mary Jane Watson, The Hobgoblin Strikes. Pretty sad origin story to Mary Jane. This is where the trade paperback ended on this issue. I believe it collected like 255 to 259, something like that. And this is where the original trade paperback ended. So then I could continue the story with number 260. Here's the Hobgoblin trying to get Norman Osborn's secret formula battling Spider-Man. Well, the main reason that I was getting these early issues was this beautiful Charles Vess cover of Amazing Spider-Man 261. Hobgoblin triumphant, Spider-Man defeated in a flaming warehouse. Just love this cover. Let's get a closer look at it. Charles Vess, amazing 80s artist, known a lot for fantasy, but he did a lot of great painted covers for Spider-Man back in the day. So this is the main issue I was trying to get, and I got then those other, in the same lot, those other Spider-Man comics. Pretty cool. So to recap, here is my eBay comic haul. Amazing Spider-Man 261, 258, 259, 260, Amazing Spider-Man 700 Newsstand Edition, ASM 700 Second Print Variant Edition, 700, one of the variants, the Copiel cover, 600, Spawn number 2 Newsstand Edition, Amazing Spider-Man 200 Direct Market Edition, Hepcats number 3, and Omaha the Cat Dancer number 1 first print. So there you go. Here's some recent eBay hauls, comics that I got, some stuff for my personal collection, some for its value, and some that people didn't know what they were selling. So be on the lookout for those. This has been VM Campos. If you like this video and my other comic book or Magic the Gathering videos, don't forget to subscribe or like or comment, and I'll see you in Maple City.